Hello, I'm Lord Snark and this is How to Fix, a new series where I look at anime that failed to live up to their potential and how they could have been better. Today I'm going to be looking at Toaru Hikushi no Kwaita, aka the pilot's love song, which I'm just going to call Love Song from now on because I'm sure that I've already butchered the pronunciation of the Japanese title. I'm going to take this chance to give a great big spoiler warning, so if you care about that sort of thing you should go and watch the series before coming back to this video. Right off the bat, Love Song has one of the best premises I've come across in a while. A deposed prince whose family were overthrown in a bloody revolution ends up unwittingly falling in love with the figurehead of that revolution as the two of them travel together on a floating island heading towards territories unknown. You've got romance, political intrigue, fantasy, and the potential for fantastic character drama. So what went wrong? Problem number 1. The central romance doesn't work. The romance between Kal-El. No, not that one. Wait, didn't I do this exact joke in the last video? Anyway, the romance between Kal-El and Claire is the backbone of the series and it needed to be strong to hold the series together, but unfortunately it's incredibly forced and never feels genuine. The two fall in love pretty much instantly and the relationship stays about as shallow as that for the whole series. The two love each other purely because they are the main characters and not because they have chemistry or any kind of meaningful connection. It's pretty telling that I found that Ari's goodbye to Cal got much more of an emotional response out of me than any scene between Cal and Claire did. There's very few scenes where Cal and Claire have real conversations that aren't just the two of them being kind of awkward. A lot more time needed to be spent letting the relationship grow and develop. If you're going to center your entire show on one relationship, you really need to show the audience why these characters care so much about each other, and I'm still honestly not sure what it is Cal and Claire see in each other, beyond the fact that they're both somewhat nice and attractive. Problem number 2. The side characters are a collection of nobodies. None of the side characters, with the possible exception of Mitty, make any kind of lasting impact on the audience. The cast is extremely bloated for a 13 episode show. We have Cal, Claire, Ari, Igna, Ari's family, Cal's family, the two flying instructors, the leaders of the Isla expedition, and the many students of the Flight Academy. Inevitably, with so many characters jostling for meagre screen time, most of them end up being one note and forgettable. I watched the entire series and I still don't know most of their names. I know that this is Mitty, the big guy is Wolfgang, and Mitty's girlfriend is called Cheap something. Because the characters make so little impact, it makes no difference to the audience whether they live or die. The sole exception is Mitty, who gets a chunk of an episode focusing on him and Shihara, but this makes his death in the next episode painfully obvious. Huh, Isla's under attack and the newly formed couple is in harm's way. I wonder what's going to happen. Still, at least Mitty's death elicits a reaction, even if that reaction is just, well, duh. Am I really supposed to be sad that Draco Malfoy here died? Am I really supposed to be worried about whether Glasses Guy or the short one are going to make it back alive? Problem number 3. The final third is a complete mess. There is some good stuff in the final third. Ignacio's backstory is interesting and well handled, there's decent action, and having Claire stay with the Sky Clan so that Isla can finish its journey is actually an effectively bittersweet way to wrap up that part of the story. But aside from those few high points, there is an awful lot wrong with Love Song's final few episodes. First of all is the way the whole Claire is Nina Viento situation is resolved, or rather not. Cal learns the truth and is understandably horrified. He just found out that the girl he loves is also the figurehead of the revolution that overthrew his parents and condemned them to death. He has every right to be upset. So, of course, we have to go down the cliched character gets some sense beaten into them route, even though Cal isn't being even a little bit unreasonable. And then he forgives Claire just because she says she's sorry. At no point does she or anyone else explain that she was manipulated into doing what she did during the Wind Revolution. As far as Cal knows, she ordered the deaths of his entire family because she wanted to, and he's apparently alright with that because she's sorry. I get that Cal is supposed to be following his mother's advice and learning forgiveness, but he spent the entire series up to this point going into a psychotic rage every time he's laid eyes on Nina Viento, and now he's instantly over it with no questions asked. This lesson is even contradicted in the final episode. Having learned all about forgiveness, surely Cal should forgive the Sky Clan for taking Claire. But no, he rallies not one, but 2 countries to war, condemning countless people on both sides to death, just so he can get his girlfriend back. This is incredibly selfish of Cal. The noble thing to do would be to make a plan and try to launch a solo rescue mission instead of creating God knows how many orphans. Going back to Cal rallying the people, why isn't there more of a reaction to his return? The last member of a widely despised royal family walks onto a stage at an event organised by the people who had his parents put to death, and nothing happens. How inept are the revolutionary government that they let the single biggest threat to their power stand in front of a crowd without intervening? The second he announced his name, he should have been tackled by armed guards, taken away and shot. But no, the political strife that formed the core of the backstory just gets brushed aside. So, how to fix the pilot's love song? I'll address each of the 3 major issues with the show individually, but they all fall under 2 possible fixes. More time needed to be spent on developing Claire and Cal's relationship. There should have been a lot more scenes of the 2 of them talking, and I mean really talking, not just smiling and blushing at each other. We really needed to understand why it was that the 2 of them cared so much about each other. There are 2 possible solutions to this one: either cut down on the large cast and focus on a smaller number of characters, or have a longer runtime so that you can develop everyone. Cal should have learned the truth about Claire's involvement in the Wind Revolution to make his forgiveness of her more believable. Scenes should have been added showing Louis taking steps to ensure that Cal could give his speech in safety, setting up protection, bribing revolutionary soldiers, etc. Also, Cal should have at least tried to go back for Claire alone. Asking so many people to die so he can have his waifu back is reprehensible of him. Most of the show's issues boil down to the fact that there's a lot going on and it's too much for its runtime. To fix it, either reduce the stuff or increase the time. Fix option number 1. Numerous plot elements and characters can be cut, allowing the series to focus more on the important things like the central romance and filling the gaps in the final act. Or, fix option number 2. Make the show considerably longer. A length of about 22 to 26 episodes would allow everything to remain intact and allow for much more time to flesh everything out. In both cases, a particular focus would have to be on developing the central relationship and justifying the seemingly illogical things Cal does in the final third. This show is actually based on a series of 5 light novels, and this comes to about 2.5 episodes per light novel. Most light novel adaptations have 4 to 6 episodes per light novel, so it's easy to see how the series managed to become so crammed. As it stands, The Pilot's Love Song is a show with the potential to be something special, but unfortunately, it's something that many viewers will only look back at with disappointment. Thank you for watching.